All right, Mike. We told him we'd be back to do another one, but we're here to kind of do like a somber one here. Sabu passed away last night at the age of 60. Someone everyone has fond memories of, kind of a character overall, is a way to put it, on and off the screen, of course. But I don't think there's a lot of bad things to say about Sabu. When I say Sabu, what's the first thing that kind of pops in your mind, Mike?
Intimidating. He
Okay.
was very intimidating at first. If you didn't know him, very intimidating. Um, Innovative.
Yep.
Once in a generation talent. But I'd say that if you said the first thing that popped in my mind, I'd say intimidating. Because before I got to know Sabu, I was terrified to talk to the man. Yeah, I was just scared of him. He kept to himself. He had that aura about him. Like he was just a different cat. And if you didn't know him, he was a little intimidating. But over the years, I got to wrestle him and get to know him, and uh, yeah. And it's fun. I swear, I sat down at my desk, and right here, because when I go to conventions now, I get everything signed by my friends. I get
Yep.
pictures of everybody because, as we obviously know from today's video, tomorrow's not guaranteed for anybody. And right here, I got this Sabu signed magazine. Like I swear, it was right here on my desk. Wasn't playing nothing. It's right there on top. I have no idea how it got there, but yeah, it's crazy. Sabu's gone.
3 weeks ago, he had his final match at Joey Janela's Spring Break in Las Vegas, Nevada. It was what it was. It was a 17-minute match where they went out there and Sabu laid out a match what he would have laid out in his mid 30s, right? And he went out there as a 60-year-old man and just threw his body into it. It was built as his retirement match, and he even tried doing some innovative stuff at that. I was up, the mark myself was up at 2 a.m. East Coast time, anticipating watching it and looking forward to it, forcing myself to stay up to kind of witness it because I was so curious what he was going to still give us at this age.
Right.
And looking at his cage match here, his last match before that was 4 years earlier in 2021, and since 2020, he's only had 3, 4, 5 matches. So he's still out there, kind of putting around in his mid 50s, and then at 60, Joey pulls this angle. He builds up all this anticipation, and really, it's his dream match. And Sabu went out there and gave it his all. So he's still doing it here in the 60s. So, yeah, hats off to him for sure.
I didn't see the match. I hope it.
Yeah.
I hope it wasn't embarrassing. That's all I could say. That's all you can hope when
Yeah.
somebody at that age goes out there. You're like, I just hope they don't embarrass themselves. So I hope he didn't. No matter what happened, he's not going to tarnish his legacy because he
That's
left
it. Yeah.
a body of work that only someone who was truly in love with the wrestling business could have left behind. I
Mhm.
wrestled Sabu a few times in I don't remember the year, but it was in the mid to late '90s. I hate when someone does a tribute to somebody and all they do is talk about themselves. I
Yeah.
hate that. But I'm gonna in this instance
We're
just
here for a
because
reason, Mike. We
well
would love to
there's a
hear the stories and whatnot. Yeah.
okay. All right, but I'm not trying to put myself over by saying this. So I wrestled Sabu back in the day. He told Dennis Corluzzo that I was his favorite indie guy to work with. And
Interesting.
Dennis told me that. Sabu didn't. But to me, that was like the coolest thing anyone's ever told me.
No one could
Fast
tell you no.
forward Yeah, fast forward to last summer. I haven't seen Sabu since the late '90s. So he was at one of Tommy's conventions, and I went up to him. And I'm a fast talker. I mumble a little bit. And I said to him, "Hey Sabu, I don't know if you remember me. I said I used to wrestle as Ace Darling, and so keep that in your mind. And we wrestled back in the day. And, oh, nice to see you again." He shook my hand, and he gave me a quick hug. I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." So we start talking, and we're talking about matches. I'm like, we wrestled here and there, and he, myself, and Crowbar had a three-way one time as well. And he's like, "We did?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Let me pull up a picture. Let me pull up a picture of what I used to look like 25 years ago." And he goes, "Wait, that's a picture of Ace Darling." I said, "Yeah, I told. As I said, I'm." He goes, "I thought you said you were a friend of Ace Darling's." Ryan, I kid you not. The man stopped in his tracks, gave me the deepest, hardest hug. He looks at me dead in the eyes. I'm gonna start tearing up saying this because I had so
Yeah.
much respect for the man. And he said to me, he goes, "You were such a great worker." He goes, "You were so talented in there." He goes, "And I loved wrestling you." And I must have told 500 people that story since then because it meant so much to me that this guy who I just dreamed of being half the performer he was had something that meaningful to say about me. And it was just, I don't know, like it meant so much to me that this man, who at one time I was terrified to say hello to, said to me that he thought I was a great worker. And it just blows me away to think about that. And I told that story probably to, that day alone. I told it to 50 different people. You know what Sabu said about me? It just made my day. And I've told so many people that story. I've told it on podcasts since then. It's like, one of your heroes.
Awesome story, by the way. I'm sure it's funny how he has like this photographic memory in a way too, right? And you see a lot of that in his matches as well. And honestly, you saw some of it in some of the structure that he even had in that match 3 weeks ago, where he tried doing stuff because he wanted to do what was meaningful to the fans, and he wanted to go out there and put on a killer show and be innovative and memorable. And what you said with innovative is just me as a fan is kind of what I would, a lot of fans think of the word that pops in our head for him is innovative. And intimidating too, in a way, right?
Yeah.
Definitely intimidating. So,
Let me
yeah.
tell you this about Sabu as well. He did crazy stuff in the ring. We did spots. The first time we worked, we did spots with tables. We did spots with chairs. I did whatever he wanted. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He never touched me with anything, with nothing. He went through
Really?
a table. He took the impact. He did a crazy move off the top with a chair under his his ass where he lands on you with a chair. You know what I'm
Hmm.
talking about? He does like
He's
a
going
leg
for it.
drop with a chair under his legs. It looks like he's landing on your face. His ass took that impact. He wanted to do the crazy stuff, and he took all the brunt of it. So that's why Sabu was so broken and beaten up. The man, put his body through hell to make a living because he loved pro wrestling. And if I'm willing to lay there and have him hit me with a chair, I'm assuming I'm taking some of the brunt of it. And I didn't think anything. Only thing Sabu did, and he's notorious for this, gives you a punch in the corner, no problem, no problem. Whack! Ooh, and you never go. Sorry. He's always good for one or two taters with the punches, but the big stuff, he took it all himself. He hit me with chairs. I thought it was magic because I didn't feel anything. He sent me through a table. Again, I thought the man was a wizard because I didn't feel a thing.
All right. So, on, this isn't like the first one that I've done, unfortunately, but as I do these, I kind of want to just be like, all right, here's some of the top matches that I would recommend that you guys go see
Hmm.
and whatever. So, Sabu pretty much ECW throughout with stops in the WWE. Like I know '06 through '07 he was in there. '97 he flirted a little bit, and then he went into WCW on a contract in what '96 or '95, '96 about there. But other than that, through and through with ECW, his biggest rival is probably Taz,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, it's funny too. I watched Taz video today on him. Just Taz released the Twitter videos like I I dreamt about him last night, and it's crazy that I talked about him last night or I dreamt about him. I can't remember which one, but he said that I was brought in to be this guy's first match and he made my career. I can't say enough good things about Sabu. We've been indifferent about a few things, but I owe him my career and I love him and innovative and everything, so on and so forth. So if you haven't seen Taz's little Twitter video, please go see that. Just every day, all the pouring, the Dudleys, everyone pouring out their love and affection for him. Even your little story, look at the impact he made on you, there. So yeah, it's just unfortunate. But before I pull up my list or whatever, Ace, if you don't mind me asking, what is it like to kind of go out there and look at a match with Sabu? You kind of told us that Tito was like, all right, hey kid, I'm listening to you. You know what I mean? Is Sabu
Yeah.
with all his craziness, is it's like I'll call it in the ring, you know what I do? Or is this like what does he do? Like how does he set you up if you don't mind me asking you?
We talked a lot.
Yeah.
I'm trying. It was so. I mean, it was literally 25 years ago, but I do remember sitting there, and I remember saying to him, "You had nothing to worry about, because you go to these indie shows, because I've been through it hundreds of times, and you're like, oh gosh, which one of you guys is Joe Blaze, or I'm just making up a name, and the guy raises his hand, and I'm like, oh, I hope I can get something out of this guy. But I just told him, I said, you're in good hands. I'm not gonna hurt you tonight. Whatever you want to do, I'll be there for you. And yeah, once we worked the one time, it went perfect. We worked the next night, and he goes, let's do the same thing. But it was a lot of spots. It was a Sabu match,
Yeah.
and he said to me, what do you do really good? And we sprinkled that in, and I mean, he gave me half the match, probably more than that. And yeah, I just couldn't believe how light the guy was. I just
In
couldn't
with
believe
that
it. And
style too, right? Yeah.
yeah, I just really thought that. I don't know. I don't
Underrated
know.
athlete is what I would take out of all that, not really knowing how the sausage is made. For him to be super light and all the stuff that he does, and just the herky jerkiness at the last moment to be light, what an unbelievable athlete you would
You know
think
what's
of, right?
yeah, a huge spot that I think of when I think of Sabu. Remember that springboard leg drop he did to John Cena?
Yep.
Remember that? John Cena was
Hmm.
the golden goose.
Yeah, and
John
that's
Cena
crazy that it
was
gets a John Cena match. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but think the match. I get it. Okay, you get in there and you beat. You have an ECW guy to beat. You give John Cena something to do, but John Cena did not have to take that leg drop, that springboard leg drop through a table. That's not an easy move to lay there for when your livelihood when you're going to make millions of dollars that year if you're on the road and selling merch. And if some
yeah.
guy lands on your head, you're not going to make it. So John Cena must have had a hell of a lot of respect for Sabu and trust to lay there because
Them
John didn't have
too.
to do that.
Yeah.
What's that?
I assume Paul and them too to go out there with the golden goose, like you said. I'm sure Heyman
Yeah.
was like he can handle it, so on and so forth. When you say that era, I think of two things, right? I think of two things. I remember this stat all the time that in a 3 weeks or in a 9 week span, he wrestled Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio, John Cena in that summer of 2016. Pretty fucking cool in retrospect, right? And then
Yeah.
it was just like when he went to sign his contract, he has like, Paul, I'm not getting fucked here, right? I can't read. Like, like him telling that story. He's like, Paul, you're not fucking me here. He's like, no, it's the WWE contract. I'm not fucking you, Sabu. He's like, well, I can't fucking read, so they're going to be fucking right. And he's just like, Jesus Christ, Sabu, I'll bring you into the
Wow.
WWE for this ECW. Just trust me. He's like, I don't fucking trust you, Haven. So it's just like the whole like him telling that story, or really, honestly, him telling any story is immensely entertaining.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I I asked him to do my podcast when I saw him. He goes, I hate doing podcasts. He goes, I hate them. He said, what I do is I charge guys too much money so that I don't have to do them. So they say no. He goes, but for you, I like you. I'll do your podcast. And I text him. He texts me back. We set up a date, and he canceled on me. But it is what it is. It is what it is. He's not. He isn't really like doing that kind of stuff, and I get it. It's not for everybody. But no. Like I was saying though, just I'm still surprised that a guy who makes the money and had the spot of a John Cena took that bump from Sabu. It just shows you
It's
what
a
he
very
must
good
have
match, by
thought.
the way. It's only like
Yeah,
9 minutes, but I remember watching it like a few years ago when I watched 2006. It's a really, really good match.
yeah. You said what matches should you watch of Sabu? You can watch any match of Sabu, any match,
Yeah.
and you'll see the heart, the athleticism, the risks, the passion the man has for pro wrestling. He never went out there, no matter what shape he was in, and phoned it in. Never.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the RVD 2016. Was it? I think it's TV 97 Taz barely legal. That of course is historically fantastic. 94 Cactus Jack. I'm not gonna bring up a list. I'm just gonna go off the top of my head. And what's the Too Cold year? I think it's 97 or 8. No, is he what? I don't know, the Too Cold match or whatever. So those are probably the ECW ones that, and the tag with Hayabusa, of course.
Oh
So
yeah.
those are probably the five. And honestly, the Cena one's really fun too. And the Mysterio one from the week before that on the ECW WWF TV one is really cool too as well. So that's Sabu, man. Now that we're at the end, if there was a word that you would want to, mine is respect. If there was another word that you'd like to throw out there for Sabu as we're out of here, Mike, what would it be?
Respect would be one of them, and not just given respect. He not just giving respect to him. He gave respect. I remember at the convention, I introduced him to a few of my friends, and he stopped, looked him in the eye, shook his hand, shook their hand. Very, I don't know, like Sabu went from being this scary, wild animal to this tame, nice guy that you can have a regular conversation with. And I'm trying to think of a better word than that. I don't know, man. He's up there for me. Like he's in the rare air of guys I always wanted to wrestle, and unfortunately I had a chance to wrestle, and he's had a mystique about him. There was just
Mystique's a great
something.
word.
Yeah, there was
Mystique.
just something. I'll stick with that. I like that. Yeah, there was just something different about Sabu, and no one. You can't teach it. You can't duplicate it. No one will be Sabu. Everyone tries though. Gosh, everyone in the Indies always tried to be Sabu, but no one will be Sabu. There was one Sabu.
No doubt. And I just read too before jumping on here. I think Sami Zayn was trying to push for him to go into the Hall of Fame in the last year or so too, as well at like in the physical year. So unfortunate that another one. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He probably will be in the next few years, I assume. But Sammy was kind of like pushing him as he's kind of floating around here. So unfortunately, another one not able to, but he should be. He definitely earned it. Just based off all the respect or whatever, innovation and all so on and so forth. But Mike, unfortunately, this is the one we had to get you on here to do another one with hopefully brighter days ahead of us on that one. So Sabu, age of 60, rest in peace, my man.
Rest in peace, Sabu.